Hey, everybody, welcome back into Roosters on Olentangy River Road in Columbus, Ohio, the greatest city in the world. Ohio State has won another football game, a really shocking turn of events. 52-12, the Buckeyes beat Michigan State on Saturday to stay undefeated, to stay in position to win the Big Ten, to potentially get back to the college football playoff, and set themselves up for maybe the game. We'll see if that actually gets played. We'll talk about that a lot more.
That's big.
Normally, it's the biggest, most exciting week of the year, and now we're on Monday for Lettermen Live. We don't even know if that's going to be played. I'm Austin Ward. That's Michael Bennett, Justin Zwick, Nicole Cox, Jake Stoneburner, Doug Worthington, maybe one more guy who's going to come eat some mac and cheese bites later on.
He's in the building. I did see him.
He's there. Okay, well, you can't have a show without him, especially the week of playing Michigan.
Wow. We're just going to use their name during Team Up North week, like just casually.
If they're not even
do you buy into the not saying?
Didn't that didn't it sting when you said it? Didn't it feel weird?
No, even Trust used Michigan, right?
I got 5 on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wear blue and yellow and everything.
The rivalry by making sure they're going to play.
Well said.
Then I won't bother giving them the respect of a nickname like Team Up North. How about that?
That is literally the opposite. Is disrespectful to not call them by their name.
I think it's more disrespectful to call them
I feel like you give them too much credit.
Wolverines.
You give them too much credit.
Look, they've got to play the game. I just don't. We're going to talk about that later on. I know that Schlegel will probably rant for about 10 minutes when he gets in here.
Hey, we got to get this in while we can.
Yeah. So for now, let's set aside what's going to happen this week with the Big Ten race, with the game on Saturday, with the college football playoff. We will come back to it. We actually got a game to break down this time. So after last week with the cancellation, we've got something to break down, and a bunch of new faces got to play in that game because of those COVID-positive tests that led to the cancellation against Illinois. So a lot of opportunities for Buckeye leaves, and Nicole is going to kick it off back with us this week. And she's got. Did your son write those notes, or are those your notes?
These are my notes today, guys. These are my notes. So it was exciting to watch the game, and I was very impressed with the defensive line. I thought they looked, and I think everybody was waiting to see some more action and plays.
Guys up here. Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
It's all good.
There were more plays, more action, and Sean Wade, he had an interception, which was great. And I think that sometimes when defensive linemen have a great game, it doesn't always go into this, it's not always shown in the stats. And this week, my Buckeye leap is going to Haskell Garrett, and it did show in the stats for him. It was unbelievable. And just their hand-eye coordination and seeing, they didn't take their eyes off the ball, and that's how they were able to be there. And then him with his pick six of being able to mimic the quarterback's form, to have his hand in the right place.
What's going through Mike's head right now?
How hard is that?
Match the hand.
That's impressive.
That's real good.
Yeah. So I just think him being able to do that and then catch the ball and make a touchdown, it was unbelievable. So he definitely gets
anytime those defensive guys actually catch the ball, that is really impressive.
I got my
they aren't usually the best athletes.
I got my interception.
They're great athletes. They're just not used to catching.
I never had an interception.
They never need to catch.
You would know.
You're right.
I know I didn't have an interception.
I'm about to say you would know.
Yeah, what do you say? I don't think I did.
I had a pick six. I can't remember.
Yeah, I had a nice little tip ball right into my lap in the Michigan State. So Sparty's up, man.
Beautiful.
Shout out to Haskell. That's
like
blessing.
Stoney saying, I don't remember if I had any touchdowns.
Right. I don't know.
It's different.
I don't know if I had any catches.
I can count those on one hand.
All right, who wants to tag in? Nicole, that's a great
I'll
one.
go next. I'm going to just collectively say the offensive line minus Harry Miller. Not really. I mean, he stepped in. He did what he had to do, but those snaps were just horrendous throughout the game. Justin Fields did a great job playing shortstop. When you're in that situation as quarterback, man, that's tough because you're trying. When you're in the shotgun, you can see over top of things and you can kind of have an idea where you're going. But when you're just straight worried about where's this thing going to go, that brings a whole different dynamic into. But I think the offensive line, missing these guys and just stepping in and, young guys, although monsters,
DeJuan Jones.
I mean, they stepped in and, they did a great job. And I don't think Michigan State was a team that had a real strong defense. But I thought they were going to come and throw some stuff at us and try and, confuse these guys who are just now playing for their first times maybe not first times, but extended playing time anyways. And I think they did a great job. I mean, we put 52 points on the board. You can't be mad at an offensive line for that.
It does help to have Justin Fields back there.
It does.
Well said.
Which, I mean, when you saw his picture Friday night, getting on the plane, everybody that is an Ohio State fan was like, all right, we're good.
I
We're
thought it
good.
was pretty
Well said.
funny how they waited all week before showing it, just to like build
All
up
about the drama, man.
build up the
It
drama.
is gonna
Big
be.
reality
Got to sell
show.
tickets.
Had those soft focus photos earlier in the week. Like, who is that back there? And everybody's trying to scramble down the roster. Just wait a little bit. They'll be out there. Stoney, Buckeye Leaf, who you got?
I'm going to go with Trey Sermon.
Oh, boy.
I was going to go with the O-line.
I wonder how Jay-Z and Mike
Did
Bennett feel about
he pay you any money to say that?
No.
No.
I
guess he
There we
didn't
go.
have to. Trey had a great game. I'll give him credit.
I just think
did.
he looked like a different
Interesting.
back.
Yeah.
Looked a little more
right?
explosive.
Yeah.
He looked like the back we saw
He
last
didn't go
year.
down right when somebody
hating on
touched
the
him.
Tell me more about it, Stoney. Keep going.
Okay.
Just looked like he had a little more juice this
Talk about it.
weekend. I think
Yeah,
so.
Talk about it. That's
It's
good.
been our ongoing thing with Austin this year,
Yeah,
between Master and him.
the O-line obviously created those holes, but I just felt like he finished his runs, looked very athletic. Obviously, that long touchdown
Right.
stands out.
That's good.
To me, I think he just proved himself to what we saw last year, and he's starting to show up right when we need him.
Yeah, definitely his best game in my opinion.
Yep.
I don't
Right.
think I can't argue that part either.
Yeah,
That's-
well, yeah.
But, it's growing. We've said it. We've beat this drum a number of times. He didn't get non-conference games. He didn't get training camp.
Well, I mean, shoot, he transfers in. He doesn't get spring ball. He doesn't.
I
He
just
missed
found
a
out he
lot
had
of stuff to
ACL.
try and gel with this offense or really get a feel for it. So
That's the running back I thought we were supposed to see all year,
Yes.
that we had heard
Yes.
about from
Yes.
Oklahoma. If he can continue that. I mean, obviously our offense is already scary, but
yeah,
That's
no
good.
doubt. No doubt.
And just to give credit to Master Teague, that wasn't his best game, but the Indiana performance. Maybe that's why Ohio State has not listened to what I said early on, and where you had to pick one. Like if you get a hot guy you can adjust
Keep
from
'em
there,
hot, right.
and then it's working. Take
I also think part of it is I think some teams are built to stop other teams.
That's good.
Some power backs are going to go up against teams that are built for power, and I think Michigan State is built for power. They're not really that speed team. I don't think Indiana is built to handle power. So I think Trey Sermon, he's
point.
going up against these big D linemen
Right.
and these bigger linebackers, a little bit slower, and he's shifty. He's making a move. He's
Yes,
making
he
a
is, yeah.
miss and all this kind of stuff. He definitely had the game of his life or the game of his season. But, I just think sometimes, which is great to have a Trey
Right.
Sermon and a Master Teague, because now regardless of what they throw at you, fine, you bring in the power, we'll give you Trey.
There you go.
You can't handle the power, we'll give you Master Teague.
There you go.
That's a great
you know who
point.
Trey reminded me of?
Who reminds you of?
Alvin Kamara.
Okay. That's
Wow, one game.
That's big.
Wow.
That's big.
Not Alvin Kamara right now.
Tennessee album.
Tennessee Alvin
okay.
Kamara. That
JUCO.
change of
Pump the
pace,
brakes.
come in.
I haven't gone that far.
That's deep.
Yeah, that guy was
That's
drafted in
good.
like the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah.
Right. There you
He
go.
had that he was that game breaker, touched the ball 8 to 12 times a game. Look at him now.
Look at him now.
just
getting
saying.
paid.
I'm just
for- yes.
saying.
That's what you're
I'm
here
with you.
for, Stoney.
Right?
Yeah.
I think
I like it.
I think one thing that we're kind of missing on this one is what was our guy Justin Fields doing the whole entire game. He opened up a lot of holes. He had 107 yards rushing on 10 carries, so he gave you that extra threat so that number 8 can get there and kind of get busy. So to kick it off on that point, I'm giving my Buckeye Leaf to my guy Justin Fields. Coming off of Indiana, where he had one of the, again, 3 interceptions for 29 games. Then he had 3 interceptions in one game. To have a bounce back after that chaotic week, and then to have the juice at the end of the game when C.J. Stroud got a touchdown, he was just all throughout the whole 4 quarters a presence on the sideline and on the field. So the fact that, Trey did good, I'm happy for him, but you got to think about it. When they got that double threat, when my man can go out there and he bounced off a 42-yarder, it made a little bit of extra holes and it made everybody, pay attention.
How about the block at the
Oh,
end of the
it was-
touchdown run?
I was just going to bring that up
Love
too.
it. Nicole, do it.
That just shows that he plays until the whistle blows.
Okay.
He doesn't give up. He followed to make sure he could block, and make sure they could get the touchdown.
And
Was
shows
it a
how
block in the
fast he
back,
is. It was close.
No,
It was a little
think he
iffy to
got
not
there.
do it.
I would have preferred
the
him
effort
not
is
to
there.
do
It's a
that.
defensive guy. Doesn't give him credit
Right.
for it.
When I saw the replay, I said, "Ooh, that
Right.
was
That was
that
close.
was
That's one of those where you say,
too
"Hey,
close
we
for
love the effort.
comfort."
Stay
Yeah,
away.
it wasn't
Don't
I can
necessary.
see Trussell ripping his tail
Oh, yeah.
when he came off. Like, hey, listen, we don't need that. You know what I
we
mean?
love the effort.
But at the end of the day, it was cool. He hit him and he put the little wave up to no fans in the stands. So it was sweet. It was a couple style points and he got him a lot of
Looked
viral.
fast.
It was viral. It
Yeah.
was viral.
Made him
Super
look
viral.
fast, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Baker
He
Mayfield
trending.
went and did it the
Yeah,
was
next day.
trending. He was
did,
viral.
yeah.
He was viral.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, how many quarterbacks would do that for one,
Mm-hmm.
and how many could do it.
Well, that's the difference.
That might be one.
Jay-Z was willing to put his body
Yeah, I would try. I'm huffing and puffing trying to catch up to those guys, but I'm just there to pick them up. I get there about that time.
He did look like a next level athlete.
Yeah.
As soon as that trade took off,
Here he comes.
Y'all like my Buckeye leaf.
He hawked him.
Y'all like my Buckeye leaf. That's a good Buckeye leaf, huh?
Yeah.
I kind of slept on. I was like, wait, ain't nobody gonna pick Justin? Yeah, that was an easy one.
And you're not even talking about all the snaps he handled.
Yeah, all the
Well,
stuff. He said the shortstop.
And that
was a
wasn't
great
even
reference.
the best thing about his day, in my opinion. I think
Right.
he was 100% trying to secure the ball,
Well
whether
said.
he was running in the pocket. I mean, he made sure he had two hands on the ball. He was throwing the ball
Dude,
away.
some of those scrambles.
Yeah,
with
I mean,
two
that
hands
goal
on.
line, that
exactly.
goal line tippy toe,
Yep.
that was real good.
But
Yep,
I
I'm
mean,
with you.
if nothing was there, boom, it's out of bounds. Or I think he did a great job and had learned so much from that Indiana game. Just saying, you don't got to be the hero.
Okay,
We got so
quarterback.
much athlete. There's so many
sir.
athletes. Let them work. If they're not open, live to play another play. And I think he did a great job at that.
He showed me the top 2 draft pick this past
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah.
With just the little things you were talking about, getting the snaps, holding the two hands on the ball. You see guys in the pros can't even do that, and he's already
Right.
doing that at elite college level.
And I think it was different from earlier in the year. I think they went back and you get back to basics. Hey, we had a rough game. Let's get back to it. Footwork, making sure the ball's secure, making just all that stuff inside the pocket, throwing the ball away. I mean, it's huge, and you got to go through a game like Indiana maybe to understand
Well
that's
said.
what I need to be doing.
was doing it without Ryan Day and Corey Dennis
Right.
as well. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
another degree of difficulty, which the coaching staff, I don't know, maybe Mike might go that direction for his Buckeye leaf.
Well, it's a great lead-in because it just so
Okay.
happens I'm switching it up this week.
Yes.
I'm going to go with the coach.
Hey!
Just like we talked
Professional
about.
segue.
I love that.
Yes,
I
look
like
at you
it.
guys.
I'm going to go with Larry Johnson.
You should.
For a
You
number
should.
of reasons.
That's the
One,
GOAT.
I just love Larry Johnson.
You should.
And two, he is the first black head coach at Ohio State in history.
That's huge.
That's massive. I think
is good.
I think Coach Johnson, I don't know his whole aspirations and dreams and all that, but he is somebody who's cut out to be a head coach and either never got the opportunity to coach at the places he wanted to or whatever it is. So to be able to hang his hat on that legacy of being the first black head coach in Ohio State history, I think there are going to be a lot of people that come after him that can look to him as an
good.
example. And for me, that would be who you want to lead off that
Right.
first. And he did an incredible job. You never want to step into a game when Ryan Day, one of your best coaches in the country, is down along with a bunch of other coaches, and you've got your whole O-line's out, and you've got to figure out how to motivate these guys in December against Michigan State. And he did it. I mean, they beat the crap out of Michigan State. They look great. I guarantee those guys in that locker room were doing some of that for Coach Johnson.
Oh, for sure.
He gets my Buckeye leaf.
For sure. When it comes down to, just was at stake, the fact of the matter is having the COVID, having 17 guys on scholarship and a bunch of your coaching staff could not come to Michigan State. So they rallied around, Coach Larry Johnson. Coach Larry Johnson was a head coach at T.C. Williams High School, and then in 96, right? In 96 came over, Joe Paterno brought him on staff. He's been phenomenal ever since. He has 9 or 10 first-round draft picks at his position in his room. A lot of universities the university we just play, they don't have that when it comes down to the entire program. So you got to give them a lot of credit on that. And I love them to death. When I was actually playing for the St. Louis Rams, Adolphus Washington and me were able to learn and get coached up by him during the offseason. And he treated me like one of his players. Like, he hit me up later on like, hey, Doug, this is really good. This is some things I think you need to work on. I'm thinking like, man, like, you recruited me at Penn State. Cool, I didn't come there. But when he came back, he was all about the program. It was super sweet. And it's crazy enough, his first win is against another black coach who was an Ohio State guy, Mel Tucker, who actually recruited me at Ohio State. So you never know, man, how the cards play. Mel Tucker, 5 years from now, might get an Ohio State chance. That'd be a cool story to come back to.
Nicole has talked about this too in other shows, the next man up mentality at Ohio State and how that everybody has to go through the adversity and be adaptable, flexible, whether that's at Roosters or Lettermen Row or Ohio State on the sideline. Like, that's been the theme of this entire year.
That's good.
Yes, it has. And I think it shows, Justin Fields, just him to kind of go back to that point of the mental resilience of learning and adapting. And I feel that is the way of the world right now. And you just have to do that. I mean, you had to remind me that we were missing that many coaches and players because they did not look like that. It did not look like they were missing that much leadership, and so that's very impressive.
Yeah, imagine missing all those people, going on the road for a Big Ten game, not flying out until 8 or 9 o'clock, going straight to your room because you're not allowed to meet together in Michigan, and then beating a conference opponent that's extremely motivated by 40 points.
Yeah, that's big.
I'd like to say, I think that started with Urban when it came to there are always going to be reasons.
Program,
There's always going to be excuses of why you can't perform at your best every week. Every week there's going to be something, and especially in this time of COVID, you're seeing that every week there's going to be a reason why, I'm tired, or we haven't gotten to practice this week, or our best player's out, or yada. There's nonstop reasons, and Ohio State just doesn't accept them. Just, if you are going to step on that field,
You're going to be ready.
you better be ready.
Well
And you
said.
need to bring your best game every single week. I don't care if you're a freshman. I remember those conversations. I remember getting yelled those things.
Oh, yeah. Preach those things.
If you
Instilled,
it would
right.
be, if Carlos Hyde is out,
Yeah.
can we trust you? And he would make a freshman or a sophomore stand up because that guy was not doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And he was saying, you might go in someday.
That's good.
These guys need to trust you. And I guarantee Ryan Day kept that going.
And that's the culture. I mean, I never partaked in it, but the fact of the black stripes, I didn't know anything about some black stripes. Like black stripes, we never did anything like that. But to what you just said, it's the culture and the way that Urban put that in there, and it's just cool to see these guys at this level playing this type of ball at this type of function.
All right, so one guy who embodied that on Saturday for me, Mike, Tough Borland. He's a 3-time captain, didn't get to play. He's calling the signals on defense. What do? Justin Hilliard, you knew what he might be able to provide when they went to that 4-4 look. But Dallas Gant, come on down. This is your first opportunity to play extensively.
Come on down.
5 tackles, a tackle for loss. Those linebackers are playing at an extremely high level.
It's a very nice room to have,
Yeah.
I
right?
wasn't sure about him
years
early
ago.
on. and
Yeah.
they're tearing it up.
They could not have done that,
That is
2
good.
years ago. Pete Warner is the most underrated linebacker in the country, hands down.
Yep.
Baron Browning is a truly elite playmaker.
Beast.
You knew
2
what those
fumbles.
two would do to make up for Tough not being there.
Right.
But Dallas Gant had to be that. Could have been Taraja Mitchell. Could have been Kayvon Pope, other guys that played in late in the game. Dallas Gant made the most of that opportunity. For me, I give him a Buckeye leaf. I could have
There you
given
go.
it to everybody else that you mentioned. There were a lot of other people that we didn't talk about. Olave, Garrett Wilson. Keep going with the tight ends, helping out in the blocking game. They didn't catch the football a lot, but had to make up for the fact that you had Thayer Munford, Josh Myers, Nicholas Petit-Frere, and Paris Johnson all out. I mean,
All tackle, right.
it's
Who was
crazy.
Who was that young running back that came in? late in the
28,
game?
yeah.
Mayan
Was
Williams.
that Mayan Williams?
Williams.
Yeah.
True freshman.
Wow.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see what he does because that young man ran hard.
I played against him. I'm sorry. I played against him at when I coached at UA.
Oh, okay. I was
Last
going
year.
to say.
I got eligibility left. Y'all can't see me.
I'm like, Doug,
Well, no,
what?
I played against him, right? And
You might kill a high school kid right now.
Listen, we were beating them guys like 3-7. The score was like 44-7 at the end of the game.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he came out, had 200 and something yards. I'm a D-line coach, so I got to watch him extensively. I'm like, man, you gotta.
Maybe
And
make
he
some-
is a phenomenal player.
Make some
He's been
adjustments, Coach Doug.
in high school last year.
Where'd he go to high school?
He went to a high school in Cincinnati. I don't want to lie.
Cincinnati. I called his high school state championship game a couple years ago, and I remember thinking, this kid's gonna
Man,
be
he was
legit,
good.
man.
He put about 3 bills on UA.
Yeah,
Shout out to the Bears. They're on the corner. Shout out to the Bears. Yeah.
So before we let Nicole go,
No.
well, this is the highlight. She's going to give us all the insights so we can make our predictions later on.
Okay.
First of all, we've got fried pickles coming on Tuesday.
Yes, fried
those are-
pickles.
Those are going
Pickle
pretty
me
quickly.
down.
Yeah, those are
They're good.
Pickle me
They're
down.
delicious.
The
Gift
Mott sticks
cards.
don't stop.
Yes, we are running our holiday special. So for every $50 in Roosters gift cards you buy, you get a $10 Roosters bonus buck. And then you have
I'ma
to
get
get
some.
on Roosters social media. Our catering division is doing an awesome promotion. We are doing wing gift boxes
Nice.
that can be delivered. So kind of like
Can I
we do for
deliver some?
Valentine's Day. Yes.
Hey,
yes.
I want to deliver some. I'm from Buffalo, New York. I
Yeah.
know wings.
I love it. I love
I
it.
wanna
Doug,
deliver
please.
some,
We would
please.
love
Come on,
the
let's do a
help.
commercial.
We would love it. And we're doing it until December 23rd, but it's 20 wings and it's personally delivered. It's in the coolest little gift box with like Roosters wrapping paper. It's really cool.
It's like an edible arrangement.
yes,
with wings.
it
yeah.
really is.
Yeah, I
That's
like it,
exactly
yeah.
what it is.
Okay.
So.
Heck yeah.
That's awesome.
Another great promotion, another way to support Roosters as we all
That's
get through
awesome.
this and into the holidays and the rest of the football season. Okay, so your prediction is coming, Nicole. I have to say, Spencer Holbrook last week sat down and said 52-13. He took your spot. He missed it by
Wow.
1 point.
Wow.
Ooh, Spencer, that's
And
good.
I know that
You
this
should have
week,
been here because you might have hit 12. You like those
You
weird
like the weird
numbers.
numbers?
I do
Yes.
like the weird.
so it's a It's a weird week. I'll say this right now that Pete Thamel is reporting that Michigan is preparing to practice today. That's a good sign for the Ohio State game.
Let's go.
So that'll make it a little bit easier. We don't have to predict a Michigan and a Maryland score. We'll just focus on the game.
But we'd be a 30-point favorite with either game.
Well, I think they were favored by less against Maryland.
Oh, were they?
So,
oops.
That's amazing.
That's
And we can still cross out M's and be
Spencer's
good,
back
too.
there and
Who'da
confirming
thunk it?
that for me.
Yeah.
It's actually better for the strength of schedule if they played the Terrapins this week. I'm sorry, Michigan. That's where you are.
Wow.
Nicole, the game on Saturday, noon in the Horseshoe.
Dum, dum, dum.
Knock on wood, and what's the score? 30-point spread.
30.
72-14.
I like it.
Wow.
I like
He's
it.
He's
Yeah.
going to hang 100,
There you
right?
go.
I like
I
it.
really do, too.
I like it.
I believe him.
I like it.
Nicole is
That is
embracing.
beautiful.
Is that
a
just
great
the
pick.
rivalry coming out on you, or is this
A little bit of both.
okay?
Little bit
A
of
little bit of both. But I just, for as much as we scored this past game, I feel we're on a roll.
Yeah, Michigan
So,
State beat Michigan, right?
Yep.
I mean, so why can't we
Easy.
beat Michigan by more?
For sure.
I got a feeling that the second segment
love
of the
that.
show is going to be just as fun as you guys pile on
Wow.
Michigan. We're going to cut Nicole out of here, and we're going to bring in
Aw,
somebody
thanks
to
for
eat some.
having me,
Absolutely.
guys.
Good job,
Dominate.
Nicole.
Thank you.
Awesome as always.
Well, she's-
GSF.
I have to get her off the show because if she stays for 2 whole segments, eventually, then I'm going to be replaced. And so I'm protecting
We'd
my own.
much rather talk with her
Or-
than
I'm very well aware of that, so I'm protecting my own self-interest,
go.
and we're going to be right back on Lettermen Live, brought to you by Roosters.
Roosters is one of the unique companies that we deal with. They're involved in everything we do, from our personal foundation to also the Cancer Research Fund. And that's from the Buckeye Cruise from Cancer to all the events leading up to the Buckeye Cruise.
They donate back to different organizations that are near and dear to their heart, and we're so fortunate to have been with Roosters now for a long, long time.
All the folks at Roosters are just genuinely kind folks, and they want to make a difference.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
All right, welcome back into Roosters. It's Lettermen Live. The second segment is going to be bumpy, folks.
no Bumpy.
doubt.
Let's
Getting
get it
bumpy.
going. Anthony Schlegel has now joined the program.
I got my shirt on.
There you
I
go.
love
Look at this.
I love mac and cheese bites.
Sheesh.
That's awesome.
As he
not a
bites
lie.
Sure
one.
do.
As he bites one.
It's not lying.
So good.
You're gonna
good.
have to autograph some of those and leave them in here. Come in and get some fried pickles, by the way, on Tuesday. That's
Yeah,
a special.
That's tomorrow.
$2
That's
app.
fried tickle.
Fried pickles.
I love fried pickles.
Oh, they're so good.
Did you want to give away a Buckeye Leaf for 15 before we get into
Or just
the
a recap of the game and what you
Yeah.
thought?
Yeah, I mean,
Attack and
weekend?
dominate.
Okay, well,
so I had to give a Buckeye leaf for last game.
yeah. Well, you don't have to, but
That's what we do
Please.
here.
We're asking you, please.
All right, who'd you
I mean,
say?
you can decline.
Who'd you say?
The offer.
I had Justin Fields.
Okay, that's a good one.
Trey. Sorry.
Trey Sermon. Okay.
O-line.
The O-line. Okay.
Larry Johnson. We already had
Yeah.
Haskell Garrett.
And we
too.
got Haskell Garrett.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nicole had
Who'd you
Haskell.
say?
this is like the previously on Lettermen
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Who'd you say?
I said Dallas Gant.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Yep. That was powerful.
Yeah, those are the top contenders.
Dum, dum, dum.
Well, nobody said Chris Olave. He had 139
There you
yards. He did have
Had
two
a couple fumbles.
Oh.
so I can't give it to him.
Give a half a Buckeye leaf to him.
That was
I like
a
how you
fake
did that.
Buckeye.
Yeah.
Leaf.
That
That
was a
fake
pump
out.
fake. I got you.
Oh,
Got me in the
Buckeye
air.
leaf.
Like,
C.J.
yeah,
Stroud had a touchdown.
Sure did.
Okay.
Is that a?
He also
Yes.
also proved
We
that
did score 52 points.
that was also the indication when Justin Fields came out earlier in the game and they had to put somebody
Yeah,
in
they
there
put
in
him
a key
in, right?
situation. It was CJ
So he
Stroud.
was the next
So we
guy.
know that he's the next guy.
All right, and then Sean Wade got a pick.
He sure
Ooh,
did.
a nice one.
Give it to him.
A nice one.
Secondary played pretty well.
They did.
I thought the linebackers played really good.
Here
Really
we
good.
go. This is what I wanted.
Yeah, no doubt. So they all.
Let's go through it.
How about,
Hey,
how about,
room by room, position group by position
Charge
group.
it to winning.
how about Sean Wade? Let's go with Sean Wade.
Okay.
It was good to see
That's
him bounce
dope.
back. You know,
That was
we
a great
talked-
catch, too.
I think we talked about it either on weekend kickoff. I think he was my guy for, hey, you needed to drop your sack and attack.
There you go.
You know, and he did. Let's go. And as a matter of fact, it's 2 games in a row the defense has scored a touchdown.
It's pretty good.
Let's go. Let's do
go.
that thing. So, yeah, Sean Wade.
I'm gonna give
like
another
it.
shout out to Drew Chrisman.
Drew Crispin, I was just
He
going
was,
to say.
he was the
man.
player of the
There,
week.
right?
No, he had 2 inside the 10
Yeah.
and 3 inside the 20.
That's
Wow.
insane.
And he was the
Yeah.
special teams player of the week for the
That's
Big
big
Ten.
time.
That dude loves playing in Spartan Stadium, by the
He
way.
does.
Yes,
He
two,
does.
2 years ago, he was the MVP of that game.
That's huge.
Getting,
Great Buckeye leaf.
interviewed on the sideline for winning a 22-6 ugly game, I think, where he took field position and Terry McLaurin was downing a bunch of punts inside the 10. So
That's pretty dope.
I just feel like you got to toss his name in there because
Terry's-
special teams doesn't get much love.
I
right?
agree.
Well, especially with this
And no
offense.
touchdown.
You know, he's
But
not
that's
not
huge.
punting the ball that many times
Yeah.
this
Right.
year.
No touchdown if it wasn't for that punt. So
Right,
he definitely
that's
set
huge.
that up. That's an assist for sure.
Okay, so
doubt.
we hinted at this earlier on that it seems like there is optimism coming from Ann Arbor that they're going to practice.
What do you
and
know?
Play. Well, as of I had heard over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, with conversations with Ohio State and the reporting that was going on across the border, there was not optimism that this game was going to be played, and that the Big Ten was going to need to find a backup solution because they were not willing to drop the 6-game minimum requirement.
What's that called? Is that starts with a C? Contingency plan?
It's a contingency plan.
Okay, contingency plan. Yeah,
and they were ready to put those in. Okay?
That's not where I thought you were going with that one.
You want to make sure that he leads you where he fully wants to.
Yeah.
And that was most likely going to be, and it still will be, if Michigan can't confirm that it's going to be able to play by Wednesday, then the Big Ten, if they don't want to make this one solution, Jay-Z, we talked about this before the show, the two options are, Big Ten, you can drop this 6-game requirement that did not work out the way you intended, or you can make sure that Ohio State plays a game, which would most likely be Maryland. Whether that means that Minnesota can or can't play against Nebraska, or you just tell Nebraska that Rutgers to stay at home for a week and make up that game against
the rest of us.
Yeah, fine, no problem here. And they can play Maryland the following week. You have to do one or the other because there are millions of dollars at stake. There's a credible conference championship that's at stake, and your broadcast partner does not want to miss out on 2 weeks in a row of Ohio State at noon. For the next time you have a conversation with the Big Ten and Fox, they're going to say, hey, remember when you didn't help us out and you screwed us with the schedule?
Right.
And we did the 2 games that we wanted. We had to wind up with Indiana or whatever they would do this week. All those things are at play, and the Big Ten knows that.
Let's go.
First off, I think we need to give some props to your hated team, Rutgers.
Right.
They've played every game this year. We didn't think we before the year we said throw them out. They're not going to play any games.
You're right.
They've
You're right
made every game. And how crazy would it be if the Big Ten said, hey, you know what, guys, good job. You go home this weekend. We're going to send Ohio State out to play your game at Maryland because we need them to get 6 games. That would
I would have lost a lot of money.
Is that on a lawsuit? That got to be like a lawsuit.
gotta be something.
You can't do nothing to them. You can't do that to some kids. Like, hey, you guys been preparing for it. You actually been doing what you're supposed to do. So I'm just gonna sit y'all down.
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
That's going to be an interesting thing. I mean, you put those 2 scenarios out there, and to me, the easiest one just seems to be
down there.
Get rid of the 6-game requirement, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we're not messing up the rest of the schedule. All these teams are playing each other. Like, just saying, all right, 5 games. They beat Indiana, who we would put into the Big Ten championship, head-to-head. Put them in, and let that go. So I feel like that would be the easiest way. Now, the Big Ten hasn't done anything easy throughout this whole thing, so I'm guessing it'll be way more complicated, and something else is going to have to, happen this week if Michigan does not, fall through. But
I think personally, with like when it comes down to what the Big Ten has been lacking, they have to step it up somewhere. As we know, when it comes down to this important situation, this is about going to the playoffs and making a lot of money for the whole entire conference. Yep. When we get to the playoffs, that is about like $6 million of revenue that we will not have. Every school, right, will not have if they do not attend that particular game. So when it comes down to what you want to see, what we need to see, we need to defend our title, and be able to represent, the Big Ten in the championship. I think they're gonna get it right some way, somehow. It's just too many things pointing to just fix it and make it right. But hopefully the team up north just.
You got to think all the money we've lost this year.
Yeah.
The Big Ten, everybody has to be saying, get Ohio State in the playoff. We need as much money coming in as we can. We've lost so much everywhere else.
Yeah, I think it's tough for everybody that's not Ohio State, but Ohio State's the golden child. It is what it is, and when you're trying to put your best team in your conference towards the national championship, this year is not even close. Ohio State is that team who can put the Big Ten on the map when it comes to the national championship. And, once again, this is a weird year, and they made a lot of rules after fumbling the schedule early on. It would be ridiculous for them to mess up the Big Ten and Ohio State because of just some arbitrary rules that they put in place.
Yeah, that they just made up out of thin air.
And, I think the other biggest thing to discuss would be, okay, the Big Ten might allow Ohio State into the Big Ten championship with 5 games. What's that conversation going to be like for the playoff committee? Like, I get it. Ohio State has obviously looked incredible this whole season. Other teams have played 10 games and, X amount of games. Like,
that's true.
It is. I guarantee the other leagues, the SEC and these other leagues, are going to have a problem with a 5-game Ohio State team strolling in healthy and fresh and excited for the national championship.
You're right.
Sucks for those other teams.
Hey, no doubt. I'm just saying.
But you've also seen this with other leagues, and let's just put Ohio State aside. Like, we don't know what would hypothetically happen if it was undefeated Wisconsin, but you already see what's happening with the ACC, where they just looked at their schedule and they said, you know what? Notre Dame and Clemson, you guys are good. Why don't you take that week off and then get ready for the conference championship? Because they are trying to position themselves to make the most amount of money and give their programs, which Notre Dame isn't even one of their programs, but giving them one of the best chances to go to the college football playoff. Good. That's just smart. It's not anything else. It's common sense.
Well, it goes back to the Big Ten. Gave themselves no room for error by moving it back to the 24th when they started. They should have easily started. They should have started in September like everybody else. If not, they should have started in early October, had 2 bye weeks. They would have been able to get all 8 games in. But again, they were so smart. They believed so much in the science and the antigen testing and the PCR testing that they felt that they would never miss this amount of games, if one. Right? And then they made that rule at the very beginning, and they have no flexibility as to saying, hey, this is where we need to change, or how can we shuffle this to set our team up for success. The real issue goes into what happens if Florida beats Bama and what happens if Clemson beats Notre Dame. Now you have 4 teams with 1 loss that have all played over 10 games. And you got Ohio State sitting there potentially 6-0. Let's say they don't even go to the Big Ten championship and they have to play whomever it is in the second tier of that.
Iowa.
In Iowa, and they go 6-0. So you got a 6-0 team versus 4 teams that have 1 loss all to each other, which all are top 5 teams. Versus in Ohio State. Now, I don't think America wants to see an ACC SEC semifinal. You're going to want the Buckeyes in there.
I certainly don't want to see Notre Dame Clemson round 3.
No, it wouldn't be that. They probably would have it to where it would be.
But if they both get in, that's a possibility.
Well, no, I foresee to where they would probably put a Clemson or whomever the other one was versus a Florida like that.
Yeah, but if they both win, then we're talking about them playing for a 3rd time this year. Does anyone?
Oh yeah, no, you're talking about like in the championship.
Like you can't put that.
I agree with you. It looks gross.
You got to hope that Notre Dame wins that game, right? Because then Clemson falls out.
I'd like Clemson to just absolutely trash Notre Dame, so we don't have to talk about the team that beat Louisville 12-7 playing for national title.
Yeah, 12-9.
Yeah, but if Clemson does beat them, that'll be 1 loss for them, and they'll have a win over Notre Dame, so they're not going to drop out of the top 4, right?
Well, I would hope that I would hope that they would, but they might not.
And I think also Ohio State has looked really good. I mean, people forget the fact that they were up 35-7 versus Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You go beat Michigan State, who just beat an undefeated Northwestern, who was they were top 10 right at the time.
Yep.
Right? So they beat them. We come in and beat them shorthanded, 23 guys off the roster, missing 5 stars, missing your head duck, and you beat them 52-12. Looked really good. Not that you needed style points anyways, but you did it very convincingly. Yep. Now you have this week. Flexibility is the key to air power. Make it happen to set your team up for success. It's going to represent you. Just like everybody talked about, an extra $6 million in the coffer when everybody is taking a reduction in pay from the higher-ups is going to weigh tremendously, especially if you're at a school like Ohio State that has 36 sports.
Need that money.
Yep.
Stoney, you got anything?
I was discussing this earlier.
Bike.
Peloton bike.
I would dominate you on that.
You would.
I know.
You would.
I know.
That's
just because I'm not
cardio,
getting
man.
bumpy, Schleg's good.
Thin is in, Schlegs.
Thin is
We're
in.
trying to be thin over here.
Is that the new dad bod?
Yeah, thin is in. Yeah,
the
it's a
new dad bod. Just
Huh?
Massetol and smooth muscles.
Can't have bowling balls
Power
as
fades
bicep.
off the tee.
Bicep, yeah, I know,
this
right?
dude hits
Exactly.
it 350 off the tee. You can't do that with no muscles. Like,
And I hit it I hit it 215 off the tee.
I mean, I can hit it, over 300 in a pair of Rocky boots. I don't even play golf.
I'd like to see that.
Slinging.
I'd like to see that.
I've actually seen. Oh, I thought you meant the Rocky boots.
Oh, you believe me?
No. I'm
could do
saying I've
385
seen your
with him.
swing.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
amazing.
see that going straight.
Oh, no.
No, it
it's-
doesn't. He didn't say anything about straight.
No, it does. It does go
It goes
straight.
straight?
Oh, yeah, I was at the 2nd and 7 golf event, man. I was absolutely just bombing it. Just ask Bobby. It was amazing. I was out there.
Ask Bobby.
Bobby,
Can't
ask
swing a
Bobby.
golf club.
Bobby's
You get the ball off the tee.
Bobby.
Bobby's like, "Oh man, that guy's good."
Bobby, please get my back.
right.
Stoney, you're talking about the long drive champion.
Thank you.
At the
Yeah.
Roosters.
Wow.
Yeah, I got his prize at home. I drink out of it all the time.
There you
Thank
go.
you. No, my opinion, I was talking to my dad earlier about this. I think if they go undefeated at Ohio State, they're in.
Have to be.
They have to be. It doesn't matter what happens anywhere else in the country. I just think if we go undefeated, win the Big Ten championship, how do you say no to an undefeated Ohio State team when they checked every box? Yeah, they didn't play as many games, still won the conference, didn't lose a game. How do you say no to that? No matter what else happens out in the college football landscape, I think if we're 6-0, 7-0, 5-0, I think we're in that CFP. There's no way they keep an undefeated Ohio State team.
The committee hasn't really put a whole ton of weight on amount of games played.
Yeah, we've seen that already.
Yeah,
they have us at
right. Yeah, exactly.
We didn't play a whole week, and we still stayed in 4. I think the committee, as long as we're undefeated, we're in. And that could also change, but that's my opinion. I think.
It's a good opinion there.
Yeah, it's a nice opinion.
Thanks. That's what I'm here for, to give opinions.
Exactly.
And ride bikes.
Yeah, and ride bikes.
Schlegel is mad that you ride a bike for
No, I don't. I like it. I just appreciate the fact that you work out, man.
That's good.
Amen.
Everybody's different. Everybody has to do their thing. Just get out there and train your face off. So you can come to Roosters and eat mac and cheese bites.
No matter what it is, riding a bike,
Health is
bumpy in the weight room.
Yeah, just get bumpy, man.
Hey, did we supposed to take that M off that mac and cheese?
What?
For this
Oh, yeah, we need some tape.
Yeah, we need to take that.
You know what?
Somebody
Somebody tweeted me that today. Is like, why isn't the morning juiced M crossed out? I was like, listen. I was like, at the end of the day, here's what I know.
Okay.
They rushed for 79 yards in 2 years versus me when I played, and all my Buckeye brothers. And I got 5 gold pants. I think I've X'd them out enough.
I got 5 too.
Yeah.
Hey, you 5 on them.
I've X'd them out enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like, what are we talking?
Oh, yeah, coaching. I was like, you were only there for 2 years.
I know, exactly. I did a lot of damage. I did a lot of damage in those 2 years.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
So if this report is correct from Pete Thamel and the optimism is rising and the game will be played as scheduled, what's the best part of this week? You guys have all lived
The best part of
this
the week.
yeah.
My
general
God.
or this specific year?
no.
Well, that's
This
the thing.
game,
Everything's different.
Everything's
getting gold
different.
pants, the preparation. I know
Right.
it's different. Like it's in mid-December now. It's not right after Thanksgiving, but you guys prepare for it all year round.
Sure.
Oh my God, yes.
I'd say honestly, like this doesn't even have to do with football. It's walking around campus and seeing all those X'd out M's.
Well.
It's almost like how people decorate their house for Christmas.
Right.
You can feel that the week's different from a whole campus perspective. Now we used to have the Mirror Lake jump. That was always fun to watch. You didn't get in there because you were 100% going to get sick. But it was always a fun environment. And then I just liked when we were at the facility. Like, it was just a little extra energy. I mean, the time for war, the coaches were hyped up. It was a different feeling in the building. And by the time Saturday rolled around, you were ready to rip someone's face off.
So I wasn't there when the M's got crossed out, even the black stripe. That is super dope. For me as a freshman, when they came in and you had you had a big roll of yellow tape and a big roll of blue tape, and then it was just like, wait a minute, what are we doing here?
Tape up
we're
your
about
helmet.
to tape up our helmets.
Oh, yeah.
We about to focus in, and like we had little meetings for scout team. But it was like, this is how these guys play this position. If you mess up, you going to have a problem. And again, I was going against big, sexy Rob Sims, Nick Mangold. Like, I was getting destroyed on Michigan week. So when it came down to seeing those guys actually on the field, my first year, I was just watching you guys. I remember when my guy James got in as a freshman. Was super dope. I was on a couch at home with a bunch of fans and stuff, just enjoying it as a spectator. So it's the build-up. Like you said, Mirror Lake, I never got in it. But this week is different. It's something to be said. Gold pants all around. I love it, man. It better happen.
It feels a little different, though, as far as most years, obviously, because of COVID. It just feels, and maybe because Michigan is just so bad.
Yeah.
Just, a 30-point.
Yeah,
it's almost like
No, it's amazing.
now they
Might get
could.
to
It's
put
the Michigan
100
game.
on.
They'll come out ready to play, and there's no doubt about it. But they're almost.
Well, they know they
they're just-
saved their season, right?
Yeah,
If
right.
they were to pull this off, they know
That's
that.
the upset of
Yeah.
the last 2 decades. But they're just so bad. It almost seems
That's true.
Not going to happen.
not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
I'll tell you what. For me, as a player and then as a coach,
Talk to him.
it means. As a player, Earl Bruce coming in.
No,
and
you
talking
stole it. I was gonna say.
You got it.
You got it. You'll do it more.
I'm
You'll
gonna do
do
it.
it
I'm
better.
gonna do it. Whammy!
No, yeah, you
I'm
got
gonna do it.
I'll-
Whammy!
You do it for you do Earl next. So I'll say then as a coach, when Coach Meyer came in and kind of went in with it's time for war. On repeat, man.
Oh
to where
my gosh.
it was almost
Saturday couldn't come soon enough.
but, and then when we had when the training at the very beginning of the year, right? It was always we do push-ups or we create some type of event that
Maize and blue
focused
period.
it on
Maize and blue period.
on that, right? So it's hey, we got 306 days to that team up north. We're doing push-ups or sit-ups, and we utilize it in the weight room as a time for where we got the senior guys to speak about what this game meant and how we're focusing on the season in January or February.
Yep.
And then we're doing push-ups, and you got some of the younger guys struggling, and we would take like an older guy and then put him over by this younger younger guy because it takes everybody, going back to Doug's point, during that week, yes, your job as a scout team player is to give the look so our guys can go out there and win the game, right? Just like in the weight room, that's how you start tying the room together, right? Like an area run. That's how you tie it all together to where, we're training for that game because it means so much. I really that Tress is the one that brought that in. It made the game different for us. And then when you look of all the change that has happened up there, that is the biggest disconnect in this rivalry. I truly believe that we take it significantly more serious than they do because of the way we think about it, the way we approach it, the way we recruit it, the way we talk about it on social media, and the way we embody it 365 days a year, because I know last time I checked today on the old Twitter machine, it was 3,298 days since last time.
It's a long time.
2011, I was actually there when that happened.
But that didn't count. It didn't count. It didn't count. That year didn't count.
It always counts, man. I was there.
You were there. You saw it. You witnessed.
I saw the loss,
We also
thank you,
have one more update before Jay-Z tells his story, which was that Angelique Chingelis from the Detroit Free Press says the plan right now is for Michigan to practice today and tomorrow. Teams should be meeting about now. This is in the afternoon. For
That's big time.
I'm not sure it's a, quote, sign they will play. It's a sign they're trying to play. They're not ready to make the
Don't give me that. If you can practice,
if you're going to practice, like,
they're done. If you're going into it
today and tomorrow, and again, Michigan put out testing results for their entire athletic department last week on Friday. It was 14 total. Not just for football, their entire athletic department.
Oh.
If that is all that you have,
you can play.
I'm sorry. You got
I thought maybe last week they kind of did what we did.
They did.
Getting to the point where we want to be ready to play, next week. And so hearing that they're going to practice, makes me feel better about what I was thinking back then.
Right.
I got to imagine if they practice today.
But to me, that iffiness shows that they're not in this. Like,
I'm scared.
Because I would think that, okay, even if you got questions,
it's the Michigan Ohio State week.
Oh, it's the rivalry week, and they're kind of like, well, maybe we'll practice. Maybe guys. I don't know. We haven't told our players, guys, just try to show up if you can't. Like, no. If they are gonna do this crap and then go out there and actually play us on Saturday, then Ryan Day's prophecy might actually come true. And if they
What's the prophecy?
What's the prophecy?
100.
Hanging 100 on them.
And I think that this
well, at least that was the Twitter rumor going around.
What you're saying, I think, might go into what Jay-Z's memories from Earl Bruce. Like, that simply could not happen in Columbus or in the Woody, where you're like, you know what, we're on the brink. We may or may not.
Should we play this game this week?
They would do anything.
Raise a hand.
We basically did that.
Well, they just did it for
the
Michigan
game
State.
against who was before Michigan State? Who did we cancel?
Illinois.
Yeah, we basically did that for Illinois, saying we're going to cancel this Illinois game because we want to be in our best position for the next two.
That's dangerous.
They actually, the thing with the Illinois game is they would have played that game. They took it to the threshold of 7.5. Like they went to where they were going to fly out on Friday night.
Saturday morning.
And they got shut down Friday evening because the rolling average was actually above the threshold. We're probably the only team that actually took it to that level. One, we can do that because we have depth in coaching, and you saw that. The difference in Ohio State is that you can go out there without your head duck, missing 3 stars on the offensive line, missing the signal caller for the defense and the starting safety, and go out there and hang 52 on somebody.
That's just goes to show how much.
And even if we didn't have Justin Fields, guess what? They're going to go play the game because. Why else would you come to Ohio State? Honestly, it's great for recruiting. We believe when we recruit you, next man up mentality, step up and show out. Right? So we're going to do that, and they coach their players that way. They took it to the brink. If you have 14 total, that's significantly below the rolling average, and you're able to practice.
And again, that's not necessarily just football.
Right.
Yeah, that's the whole department.
That's the whole department.
That's the whole athletic department.
That's even more. So looking for. I don't know. I think that. They would lose all credibility, not only for the recruiting if Jim Harbaugh stays or doesn't, whatever, but just moving forward, they would lose credibility. And Kurt Herbstreit should come. We'll all do it for him. Like you guys, Kurt was absolutely right.
Flag,
he was absolutely
shouldn't
right.
Apologize for that.
No, he shouldn't.
No. If I'm the team up north, right? I mean, you haven't beat your rival in 3,298 days. Thanks for the. It's a 30-point plug, the most in history. They came out against Minnesota. it looked great, right? Next week, they lost to an 0-1 Michigan State, their rival. So my man Harbaugh is like 2-5 against them. When it comes down to later on at the end of the season, you have a chance to spoil Ohio State's season. This is like the only kind of plug he can do, only type of like this a little bit of rival he can throw out into the dust. So I really, but it's like that sinister, like just that wicked little personality. Just I think that'll be the only little bit of a moral win for the season. I mean, they lost to Penn State. They didn't win no games last week. Like their season is tanked. I think Harbaugh, I don't know what he's going to do. I think he got to be out of there soon. But the fact of the matter is this can almost save their season, not playing Ohio State.
Well, it's the only rally cry you have, right? We have not won a game all year long. The only thing we have right now is to try and go and ruin Ohio State, our rival. Yeah. Ruin their season.
I think you think about the roles were reversed, and I was in their shoes, and we were Ohio State. Right. We would want to play so bad.
I know. Yeah,
if if we hadn't won any games and Michigan was top 4, but man, we want to spoil that season so bad.
Some of them scared. You've seen what
man.
We've been doing to teams. Like,
I think
this is a team that. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry. It's a team that we destroyed. They lost to earlier.
Some feelings down there.
It's a team that you lost to Michigan State. You lost to your little brother. We just slackled them. I would be scared. My bad, Mike. I'll be scared.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm not, no. I was just saying I think their spirit's broken. I hate to see it. I know everybody feels differently about Team Up North, whether they want to see them successful or not successful. I want to see them do well. I've said it all the time because I want them to be a real contender at the end of the season, so that we have this warm-up going into the national championship. And I like the rivalries. I like the challenges. It is absolutely disgusting to me to watch what they've done this season. Maybe I don't follow any of their recruiting. I don't know the names of their people. I don't care. But I feel like the spirit's not there. You don't lose this much at the Team Up North because of they don't have a lack of that much talent.
Well, the difference between let's go back to even 2004. When we went 3-3, then we ended up going 5-1, and we played that game versus a number 7 Michigan at home, right? But we wanted to play that game because we knew the significance. But the difference is we also believed in our coach.
Yeah, that's huge.
And that's the difference. When you have your starting quarterback talking about transferring and being dissatisfied on the sideline in the middle of a game, just shows the dysfunction that is within the program. That's the difference as to why some guys wouldn't want to play, because of how dysfunctional the Michigan football program has become. Sure. And so that might deter some of those guys from having that. Now, the competitive nature of anybody that goes and plays college football is we want to go play with our brothers against our rival, so we go out there and have one more opportunity to beat them, right? Especially those seniors.
Absolutely.
But if that doesn't permeate through the entire program, you're still not going to be able to show up on that day and have the juice. It's going to be a pocket of dudes that do, because it's their last shot at Ohio State. The other ones don't care because they know wholesale changes are going to be made, and we'll get them on the back end. We'll hit them up on the back nine.
And the coach has to match that intensity, because you have guys, like you said, those seniors are going to be hungry to play Ohio State. I would assume that in general there's enough of a brotherhood there, like you mentioned, that these guys will want to get something out of it. You don't just go get beat up from a college football season and not want to get anything out of it.
Especially when they have people talking about how they're going to wave the white flag, things like that. You think that'd piss the locker room off, right?
Oh, my goodness.
But then you step out of it, you talk to your teammates in your dorm room, or you go to practice and you're hyped up, and your coach does stupid crap, or he doesn't bring the same energy, or he just he's a weird dude. He's a weird cat.
What if Kirk did that to shame Michigan into playing?
That's might be smart.
You know what? I'm telling you, man, he could have been the one. I'm not going to necessarily say he did it on purpose, but by doing it when he did, he brought it to everybody's attention. Right.
No one was really thinking it for real, and all of a sudden it was trending.
We all thought it, but nobody said it.
Saying it out loud.
Especially when you're the voice of college football, and you happen to say that, and then you get your AD to fire back, right, saying, this is outrageous, like, we're the most winningest program. I don't believe they are the most winningest program. I believe they're number 3.
Also, who cares what you did 30 years ago?
Yeah. Or back in, the early 1900s.
That's all they got, yeah.
But that being said, I think that Kirk brought it to the attention of everybody else, and then you see that they have 14 positive cases in their entire athletic program, all of them, and now they're practicing this week. It's kind of forcing the issue that you need to make this game happen, and if you don't, then you basically are surrendering.
Yeah. Jay-Z, Earl Bruce.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, of course, these
Rest in
guys
peace.
don't get a normal, they don't get a normal Michigan week. But when we were there, I mean, it was always Sunday night. You were there Sunday.
Yeah.
With the band.
The band would be out on the indoor field. We would have a team meeting. And, boy, the hurricane would come in. We call it Hurricane Bruce.
Yes.
He would come on in, and that guy
So fired up.
hates Michigan. Or he hated Michigan more than anybody has ever hated Michigan. I mean, you could just – he would get up there, and, boy, he's pounding the –
He's just
boy.
tall.
Yeah, he's barely looking over the podium. And he just, that was our favorite – I mean, Schlegel, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was our favorite
and he
thing.
was over there spitting on you.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, and you, buddy. You know?
It was.
My God, it's Michigan.
It's
you know?
Michigan,
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
it is.
wait, you hit my God,
Whammy,
it's
you hit
Michigan.
him. Whammy.
Yeah, see,
Over.
we all remember that, I mean, and that's one of the great things about the Michigan week. And there's other stuff that you do, but you did that. You had to talk. You got fired up, and then you went out and played the trombone. And you did Script Ohio with the band, or
And you ate good, too.
Everybody fought for the drums because they wanted to bang on some drums, But that was kind of like the kickoff. Like Michigan's here, The Woody is a little more tense. You could already feel that on a Sunday or Saturday, Sunday when you're in there.
Posters is up.
It was
Yeah.
after as soon as you won on
yeah.
Saturday, the week
You
before
knew.
the Michigan game, it was like,
Yeah, it was like
time to go.
recapping
It was on.
last
It was
night.
on.
But that
it's
meeting
Michigan
for
week.
us kind of just kicked that off, and it just kind of went,
And that was kind of the weird part because on our side in the media after that Saturday game, we don't even really care that you won.
Right.
We're like,
It's all
okay,
about Michigan
It's
now.
Michigan
quick-
week.
we asked, how many times did you guys hear this? How quickly do you turn your attention to next week in the game? And you'd say, right away. All right,
Right
so
away.
that's a tradition for the media.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we didn't even get to do that on Saturday because we didn't know. And I, at that point, didn't expect, that they would play the game. But they're going to. All right. It seems that we're heading this way. Let's hope. We'll knock on wood.
You know what?
to
Just
get
speak it into existence.
Speaking into
Yeah.
Positive
existence.
juice.
Mojo.
Gonna happen.
want it because that way, we can have a nice doubleheader on Saturday in Columbus with the crew.
Oh, my
hosting
goodness.
MLS Cup.
Oh, for
Oh
sure,
my
yeah.
God, it's big time.
Yeah.
And then you
Big
got the
time.
Browns have the Ravens
Yeah, I
on
don't care
Monday Night
about that.
Football.
Let's
I'm
go.
just saying, it's big time. I know you
That's
don't
good.
care
That's
about
big.
it.
All right,
That's
so
a weekend.
The game's
Hey.
going to happen. We're speaking it
go
into
kick the
existence
ball.
on
There we
Lettermen
go.
Live. Nicole, I believe, said 72 to
72.
14.
That's awesome.
72-14.
Wow, you gave him 14 points.
Schlegel, do you want to go first?
That
or
backup
last?
quarterback, he's a little bit better than the
No,
guy who started the year.
McNamara.
Yeah, McNamara,
Cade.
right?
Remember
gonna-
Syracuse's
He can
point
throw the
guard,
ball around.
McNamara?
Doug's ready
Yeah.
down there. I'll let you
I'm
do
ready.
your
Listen.
Doug's tapping in.
Listen, I'm going to go to that Twitter beef. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep the Twitter fingers like Meek Mill going. I'm going to say some crazy number. It's
No
going to
idea
be,
what
I'm going
that
to say
means.
101.
Oh. Fingers.
101 to 24.
You
101 to
guys
24.
remember when I was the crazy one with predictions?
Wow.
Wow, that's
Listen, I just stirred the
How-
pot up.
It's in. All right.
Do they
Sort
just
of
shut their
101.
program down? Do they just shut their program down if we
They
score
should.
101?
101.
It's an
Like the
NCAA rule.
Dalmatians.
You
Yeah,
give up
yeah.
100 points.
You give
have
up
to
100,
lose
we're
your
just- you're
Maybe then
done.
they'd start taking the game serious.
And you also can't claim that you're the winningest program.
Yeah,
if
no
you give
doubt.
up 100 points.
Oh, gosh.
No.
101.
101. Okay.
I'm
That
going to
was
go.
a,
Where are you going,
77
Stoney?
point win.
I think it's going to be a lot like this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go 55. I'm going to give them 28 points. Though.
Okay.
Some late fourth quarter scoring when we're already celebrating.
Gotcha.
Okay. Blah, blah, blah. You took 55. I was going that
101.
direction. 60,
It's a nice middle in between
101.
101 and 55.
67 with a late touchdown to make it 67
Okay.
to 10.
67 10.
I'll go with.
Oh, no, he
I like
wants
that
it.
67.
I feel like he
That's
was
good,
about to-
right?
I thought he was going to go to the 80s. I could see it.
Well, he's got.
It's so
I was going to go in the
tempting, man.
55 range. So I had to go up.
I'll go 70. I'll go 75. I don't even know how you get to 75.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I was trying to do this math in my head.
10 touchdowns, a safety, and a field goal.
Perfect. That sounds easy.
All right.
Yeah.
You said
Or
75
maybe
or
even go for 2 for once.
yeah.
I'll go
'Cause you can't go for
75
three.
to-
Yeah.
Yes.
How many times do you hear
75
that in
to
the weight room? In
Exactly.
the
I,
play
I,
on
I,
the
think they're
other
gonna,
side.
I think they're gonna blow them out.
70.
He wants to blow 'em out.
73-13.
And Ryan's back for this game, right?
Look at that.
He is.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
back.
back
He's back
to work.
today.
Right now.
72
Okay.
to 14 was a
Oh, he's back
tempting,
today?
score.
I'm sticking to the spread. I think
You were gonna
30
take Nicole's
points. It's going to be
score?
around that.
101.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean you're probably close.
hear the-
we
did you
seem
hear the
we,
score?
we shoot for the
What
moon.
did you
That's
here.
cool.
73.
101.
To what was the?
13.
And yours was 75 to what?
I don't even remember.
He just
7.
tried to copy.
What's the
Nicole.
most points we've scored
What's Nicole do?
recently?
72 to 14.
62 probably.
You just moved around 2 points.
Okay,
It's a
yeah.
great prediction.
We scored
Yeah, I like it. I
72.
like it.
I think they're gonna genuinely.
Well,
try
and she
to put
gave
up
me
100
this
on them.
shirt, so I respect her
Put
score
100
so
on it
much.
then.
And she's always
I think they're going to put 100 on
She
it.
is always
I think
right.
it'd be about 60 on a half. You're going to be like, wow,
If they want
they
to.
scored 60. They scored 35 the first quarter. Then they're going to come out and keep the – listen, If they get on that field in the horseshoe on senior day, y'all remember how that feel? Like when it comes out day coming
Feel a
back.
lot different,
Listen, it's gonna be one of them.
That's a depressing.
You're gonna see
senior
the
day.
little cardboard boxes. They're gonna have some. They're gonna be some noise.
I mean,
in there.
you guys
So-
saw how
Well,
juiced they were for this last game
No,
without
they
him
won't
there.
have
Like
everybody back, right?
they know all him. This is their one moment to like
54 to
leave a
10.
mark. Besides 2020,
Got
Yeah.
it's gonna be all gas, no brakes.
Right.
They're gonna go right from first gear to sixth.
I like
that.
that.
Can I
Points
Yeah.
first half, man.
Exclamation point on
I
this
see points
2020
first
I just
year.
got some new information that I forgot about. They're not going to get all their guys back, so Coach Day won't be back.
No, Coach Day gonna be back. They just said that.
Not all players will be back.
Well, I know. I'm
Yes.
just going based off
Yeah, but
what
we
they
put
had last
52
week.
up last week.
70s.
I was just asking Justin, what's the most we scored over the past 10 years?
62, I think, right?
76.
Oh,
We scored 72
Oh,
against
against
Eastern
them?
Michigan.
Yeah,
I remember
against
that.
them.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I thought you meant
There
against
was
Michigan.
four.
Oh, no, I'm saying
it was like
like
70,
total score.
77 or
I don't know.
78 against
Google.
Florida A&M.
Yeah.
Right? It was something like that.
Yeah.
It's
Man,
it's hard.
100.
Yeah, but some of the even
But we
the contact tracing. It's not
We could
everybody
have
gonna
put
come
up
back.
like
Everybody be back.
130 on when we scored 76. We took the guys out. I mean, I was in that game. I would stop playing in the second
quarter,
half.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Jamal Berry with like an 80
if they genuinely want
The
to
101.
put 100 points on Michigan,
I said it.
that team up north, on Michigan,
I said it.
then they will.
101.
If they really want to.
They're gonna go for 2 at the end. 99.
I wonder how much of that is
101.
real
That'd be sweet.
I love it.
with Coach Day. You know, because I mean, back when the Big Ten was going through this
You
back and
make it
forth, he was
real.
like,
In moments like
"I want
this,
to
you
put
make it
100
real.
on."
He told a story a couple weeks ago. He gets the rivalry for one, which is important.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
And he
Amazing.
was also talking about Don Brown coaching against him in college, and Ryan Day was the quarterback, and he threw 5 picks against Don Brown.
So he's got a little.
He's got a personal vendetta
okay.
against Brown, who has also, not been shy about talking a little trash. And next year's going to be different. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And Ryan Day's
Okay.
like, I don't think
For
so.
the
Right.
revenge tour.
Okay, I like it. I didn't know that little piece.
101,
Maybe
man.
hundreds in the cards.
Listen. It's gonna be like on Waterboy. You're gonna be looking at me like 101. I mean,
We'll need a couple defensive scores there, I think, to
That's
get
okay.
100.
I
Well,
think
and
we
a
can
special
do that.
team
This is
score.
a pretty
Let's do
good
it
team
all.
to get it. I mean, Ohio
They're
State has
terrible.
done that several years in the game recently and dominating that way. I've just become this new, more conservative guy.
Okay.
So
I
conservative.
respect
yeah.
it.
Okay.
What are you choosing?
Probably in the 60s, aren't you?
63 to 3.
Yeah,
It's conservative.
I like
Because
to
it's a
just.
60
I,
points
I'm,
for-
respectful.
I'm going to tap the brakes. That really worked out for me as I've shifted gears. Those old days of Austin Ward saying 91-0, those are long gone.
Are
There
they?
you go.
Like 4 weeks ago.
I like your score.
It's just a nice and easy 60-point win in the rivalry on
I
Saturday.
like your
I like
score,
it.
though.
Thank you. I've worked hard on it. I got a lot of feedback, and I listened.
Because if you had 28 and you go to 35 and then they put some other guys in and they happen to get another whatever, I got it.
Bing, bang, boom.
That's pretty smooth.
I've just
I'll
tried
say
to absorb
101.
what all
Keep
the
them all in.
experts here had to
32,
say.
Schlegel.
One way or another, it's going to be a win.
I'm not an expert.
We can all agree on that.
I think we will all agree to that. Anthony Schlegel, Nicole Cox, Doug Worthington, Jake Stoneburner, Justin Zwick, Michael Bennett. This has been Lettermen Live, brought to you by Roosters. We'll be back here next week. Almost certainly going to be talking about Ohio State with a win and getting ready for the Big Ten title game. I am just Austin Ward. I will see you then.